Hello again. Welcome to our Insight Out series where we're looking at some of the traditional ways of thinking about Christianity in the church around the world and how the centuries, 1700 years, I suppose, have turned these things, twisted them, turned them upside down, turned them to mean different things. And so we lose track of them and we lose track of their sharpness and their power. This question I want to look at now in this one is the question, can I be a worker of miracles? Can I be a worker of miracles? Now, immediately I say that, there are some defensive sections of the population. Oh, no, it's not you, it's Jesus. No, you can never claim to be a miracle worker. It's Jesus. Believe you me, actually, if you, I've said this so many times, that God's desire for his people, as demonstrated in the creation story with Adam and Eve, his great desire for people is to be friends in spirit and partners in service. And when you're working in partnership, in service with the Lord, and you are doing your bit of the job and he's doing his bit of the job, as a result of which their miracle happens, you can just claim to be a miracle worker along with Jesus. You're part of the same team. So the question, can I be a miracle worker? Can I work miracles? The answer is yes, you can. Do you remember Peter out and about, came to a town and found a man lying on a mat for 8 years, on a mat for 8 years and paralyzed. And he just looked at the man and said, Jesus Christ is healing you. And the man got up and rolled up his bed and off he went home. Now, that's a quote from the Bible. In fact, the whole village who saw it happen turned to Christ as a result and became followers. Was Peter actually telling this guy, who worked the miracle? It looks, if you read it at face value, that it's Peter, but it isn't. He's simply reporting the fact that Jesus' grace is falling from heaven all the time on us, which we shall repeat over and over again in this series. And so he is seeing a miracle worked in front of his face. Can you be in that position? Yes, you can. Can I be in that position? Yes, I very often am. Why? How does that happen? How do you begin? So just as let's assume for a moment that you've never worked a miracle in your life, all honesty, but deep down in the back of you, there is a little feeling which says, oh, I would love to be a miracle worker with Jesus. I would love to be able to do that. Like Peter saying, Jesus Christ is healing you, and the guy goes home. And wouldn't that be wonderful? So how do you get started? Well, it doesn't matter, actually. You all get started from the same place. And it doesn't matter whether you're a religious person or not. It doesn't matter whether you are a Hindu or a Buddhist or a Muslim or a Christian or nothing at all. It just doesn't matter. We all start from the same place. And if you start with me at the same place, and you are prepared to work at it, you are prepared to take steps 1, 2, 3, 150, 200, advancing, seeking the kingdom of God, you'll find that these joys will be added to your life. Isn't that wonderful? But honestly, all start from the same place. I'll tell you what step 1 is, and I'll tell you what step 2 is. Step 1 is to get hold of a copy of Luke's Gospel. Now, that's in the New Testament in the Christian Bible, Luke's Gospel. Now, if you get into that and you start looking at that, it is in fact a story. It's a true story. It's a witness of the time. It is concerning its hero, which is Jesus Christ, who Christians claim is the Son of God. But just read it. Just read Luke's Gospel when there's loads of miracle working going on in there. And you watch the way carefully. Just watch. What does Jesus do? How does he behave? What is his attitude to people? Is it very difficult? Is it very easy? Why is it easy? Why isn't it difficult? How is he behaving? What's his attitude to the pompous people in the church who tell him he shouldn't be doing it? And how does he do that? And begin to and then recognize the fact that Jesus actually was and is to this day the perfect image of the invisible God. So if you want to know what God's attitude to anything is, just see what Jesus does, and that'll answer your question. He's the perfect image of the invisible God. That's lesson number 1, is to get through Luke's gospel and watch Jesus. Yeah. If at the end of that you want to throw it down and in the wastepaper basket, that's fine. You won't get any further in life, and you may well even not get any further in death. But that's, madam, is your problem. Number 2, the way forward, if you say, yes, I want to be like that, then what you have to do is to follow the instructions of God, the instructions of Jesus' training. I think possibly from my experience of these things, the worst thing you could ever do in service to God, in service to people who are suffering and actually need God's help in their life, the worst thing you could ever do is start to learn from other people how to do it. There are hundreds of courses you could go on at different aspects of this, different aspects of that. Yeah, a lot of people teaching you to do it this way or to think that way. A lot of it, and it's all dilutes the power of God, because your own humanity gets in the way. And what you learn, what you understand, gets in the way all the time. It muddies the water. So don't do it. The best thing to do is to look at how did Jesus train his people originally. It's very simple. What Jesus said to them was, teach people the kingdom of God, the nearness of the kingdom of God, importantly. Show people, teach people that the kingdom of God is near. All right? And heal the sick. Those were his training instructions to disciples and his apostles when he's sending them out on the road. Yeah, heal the sick, if you like, the other way around sometimes. Heal the sick and tell them that's because the kingdom of God came near. The two are intricately bound together, the kingdom of God being near and sick people, be that mental or physical sickness. Yeah, we heal them with that knowledge that the kingdom of God is near. Now that's very different to the way any counselor or spiritual healer will tell you. It's completely the opposite. They're not even asking you to pray for somebody. What Jesus is saying is tell them the good news that the kingdom of God is near. So what I would say to you is, tell them that the kingdom of God is close, it's near to them, and get out of the way. Keep your skills, your knowledge, your own ideas of what should work and what shouldn't work, your own versions of how you get God to do stuff for you. Keep all that stuff out of the way. It's just human and it messes up the waters. Yeah? And so number 1, get hold of Luke's gospel and define for yourself what Jesus' attitude is, because that'll tell you what God's attitude is to sickness and ill health of any kind at all. Yeah? Number 2, take his advice, take Jesus' training. That's God's training. It's not so-and-so up the road who seems to have fun and lots of people go to them and people benefit from it. You know, don't do it. Stick with the good news, the way Jesus taught it. Proclaim the good news of the nearness of the kingdom of God. Because when people understand the nearness of it, then up goes their faith and down comes the grace and away they go. Yeah? So the answer to the question, can I do it, is, oh yeah. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how much of a sinner you are. It doesn't matter. That's not going to stop you. It doesn't matter what evil you've done in the past. That's not going to stop you. It doesn't matter whether you have any problems yourself or not. That's not going to stop you. Yeah? What is going to stop you is because you give up along the road. That's the only thing that will stop you. What is the road? Step 1 on the road, read Luke's gospel and try and understand Jesus' attitude to sick people. If you do that, you begin to understand God's attitude to sick people. and the way that he ministered to them. Number two, stick with Jesus' training schedule, which was teach them about the kingdom of God. Yeah? And back off out of the way and let God have some elbow room. That's how the partnership continues with God and develops. Yeah? And no, you won't be much good at it to start with. It's like all things, it takes practice. But that is step 1 or 2. And 2, rather, sorry. Step 1 and 2. And be encouraged. In down the road, yes, of course you might. But if you find down the road, for example, that you are a wonderful Islamic person and you've no wish to change your faith from Islam to Christianity, then no, you won't become a miracle worker, because it's all done in partnership with Jesus. I'm just saying, wherever you are, start with that basis for Luke's gospel. And be prepared to have your attitudes and minds and heart sets changed by that gospel, and then set out to do it. And if you're hamstrung because you don't know enough about the kingdom of God to be able to proclaim its nearness and so on, then get learning. That's what this YouTube channel is all about. Get learning the kingdom of God so that you can proclaim it to people who aren't very well. Bless you. Take care. See you again soon. Bye.